Hi everyone, today we're going to be learning about how to find a slope from a graph. So we're going to learn with the example first. And in a problem, what you'll be given is a graph with a line on it. And what you need to do is find the slope of the line. So what is slope? So here it describes slope as change in y over change in x. So what does that mean? Change in y means how much the graph changes in the vertical direction or the y-axis. So as you can see, this is the y-axis here. So how much it changes going upwards. And then it's change in y over change in x. So then what's change in x? Change in x is how much it changes horizontally across the x-axis. So how much it moves over to the right. And that can sometimes be confusing. If you want to remember, there's another way to remember it, which is sometimes we say it is slope is equal to, actually let me write it. Slope is equal to rise divided by or over run. Slope is equal to rise over run. And that's sometimes easy to remember because rise, when you rise up. And when you run, it's how far you go. So it's up, it's going up, how far you go up or how much you go over. So you memorize the directions. And that might be confusing, but we'll go over an example now. So the first thing you do is you find any 2 points on the line. In here, as you can see, they have a point. They chose 2 random points here and here. And these are good points to use, as you can see, because you can easily find where they are in the graph, as they are exactly on an intersection of 2 lines, here and here. So if you chose a point like here, you know that it's 60 because it's right on the line, but you wouldn't know where it is over on the y-axis here. You would have to guess where it is between 30 and 40. So that's why they chose those 2 points. Okay, so let's see. The first point is 10, 20. So point 1, I'll call that P1 is equal to, so remember it's, for a point, it's XY. So P1 is equal to, first you find where it is on the x-axis at 10, and then you find where it is on the y-axis. It's at 20. Now we look at P2, which is the second point. And let's see, so X is 40 and Y is 30. So we have our 2 points now. So now we need to plug into the equation, change in Y or change in X. So what does change mean? Change means the distance that it's traveled, that it's changed by. So how do we get the change in Y? So first we look at the two Y coordinates, or the 2 points that make Y, which is 20 and 30. We have to find the change between them. How we do that? We subtract them. So change in Y is equal to 30 minus 20 divided by change in X. So what we have to find the change in X. So that'd be 40 and 10. How we do that? We do subtract them. 40 minus 10. And what you have to remember is that when you subtract them, make sure you subtract them in the same order. So that means when you subtract, and when you find the change in Y, and you start with using these numbers, 30, 30 first, and then minus 20. Make sure when you do the change in X, make sure you also start at the same point. So because you started subtracting from point 2 first, the 30 is from point 2, make sure you also start from the X in point 2 also, which is 40. Does that make sense? If not, we can also do it this way. So this is correct. And also this would be correct. 20 minus 30 over 10 minus 40. because as you can see here, the last two numbers were from point 2, the first number is from point x. What you can't do is 20 minus 30 over 40 minus 10. Because look, now these are from point 2 and these are from point 1. So make sure they're on top of each other when you're subtracting if they're from the same point. Now we're going to go back to the problem. So they plugged it in, they subtracted, and they ended up with 10 over 30, which equals 1/3. So the slope is 1/3. So now we're going to do some problems together. Okay, so remember, the first thing we do is we find 2 points on the line. So let's try to find 2 points that are easy to see. I'll choose this point here. As you can see, it's easy to tell where it would be on the line. There we go. And then the next one, I would choose right here also. And see where those numbers are. So the first point is equal to 20, 40. And the second point is 30, 80. Now we just need to do our equation. So slope is going to be equal to rise over run. So remember rise, so we start with the numbers on the end. So it would be 80 minus 40. Now I'm just doing 80 first because if you do 40 minus 80, it would be a negative number. So this is just easier to do. And 30 minus 20. And that equals to 40 over 10, which simplifies to 4 over 1. You can divide both top and bottom by 10. And 4 divided by 1 is equal to 4. So the final answer, the slope is 4. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, remember the first thing you do is you find 2 points on the line. So this would be an easy point to find. And this would be an easy point to find. So the first point, let's move down a little bit. So it's here, and here. Okay, the first point is 70, 10. P2 is equal to 90, 70. Okay, so slope would be rise over run. Change your y to next, 70 minus 10 divided by 90 minus 70. That equals to 60 over 20, which will simplify to 6 over 2, which equals 3. So the final slope would be 3. And this is the last one we're going to do. So once again, we find the 2 points that are on the line. Oh, and here, instead of being on the line, it's right at the axis. So one here and another one here. So P1, I'll start with the one at the bottom here. P1 is 40, 0. And P2 would be 50, 50. So rise over run. So y, this difference between y first, so 50 minus 0. over 50 minus 40, which is change in x. And you get 50 over 10, which is equal to 5. So the answer would be 5. And let me try it the other way to show you that you can do it the other way. So instead of doing 50 minus 0, let's do 0 minus 50 over 40 minus 50. So what we did is we switched the order of what we subtracted. But make sure if you switch the top, you also switch the bottom. Okay, they have to be in the same order. So this will give you negative 50 over negative 10, which is equal to 5 over 1, which is equal to 5. Because remember, negative divided by negative equals a positive. And here, and this will happen if you only switch one of them. So if we did 50 minus 0, but then we did 40 minus 50, our answer would be different. So that would equal to 50 over negative 10, and then our answer would equal negative 5. As you can see, these two are the same, but this one's the wrong answer. So then our answer is 5. And that's it. That's how you find a slope from a graph.